Hey guys, good to be back in the garage. Haven't made any videos in a long time, and that is because I had to take a little break from working on the Himalayan to start doing this head gasket job in the Tacoma. And today's video is just a really short video on how to get your valve springs out and change out your valve stem seals on an engine like this. It's not that complicated of a job, and while there's a lot of special tools to do it, there's a lot of other ways you can do it too. And I'm hoping to show you today how to do it with stuff you probably have in your recycle bin and your basic set of hand tools. So real kind of a overview here. Underneath the valve springs in an engine like this, so underneath our valve springs here, we've got a valve stem seal. And the purpose of the valve stem seal is when oil's moving around in the head up here with lubricating the camshafts, and the valve moves up and down, that oil is not getting down into the cylinders and burning up. So a little bit of oil gets through just to lube the valve stem itself, but if these valve stem seals fail or get old and brittle and weird, they start leaking oil down into the cylinders, and that's where you're going to get the smoke, and you're going to get that on a cold startup, the smoke coming out and oil consumption and all that bad stuff. My reason for changing them out actually has to do with the fact that the builder who did the long block for this engine used a gasket kit that kind of sucks, and so I'm replacing most of the gaskets on this engine with Toyota parts. I'll give credit where credit's due. He did a great job machining things. The engine runs amazing. It's got great compression, doesn't burn oil, but the gasket kit he bought during COVID was not a Toyota gasket kit. So you can see this is a aftermarket valve stem seal, and these are the genuine Toyota ones. And Toyota makes different intake and exhaust valve stem seals. You'll notice the one on the left here is darker in color. It's almost like a brown, and this one here is like a gray. And the brown is the intake, the gray is the exhaust. That's because the exhaust needs to be made out of a more heat-resistant metal. Anyway, when you go to take these out, they're under the valve springs here, and a lot of guys, shy away from doing this. If your head's off the car, you should do this. It's not difficult. So let me show you the fast and easy way to do this. Get the camera set back up here. Okay. I'm gonna have to move this just a bit. All right, so that's a pretty good angle. What we're going to use today is some kind of basic tools. So this is a combination of some tools here. I have a 17mm socket. I have an extension here, 3/8 extension, and I have a couple of clamp grips. And I've just made a pusher tool here. I've also got a mallet. I've got a set of hose pliers, and I have some, of course, my replacement valve stem seals, and I have some little pieces of cardboard that I cut from a piece of garbage. So let's do one of these. On this side, this is the intake, and I've already done these four, so we're going to go ahead and start with the intake ones here. And I want to show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm taking the tool I've made, and it's just a 17mm socket, and I'm going to set it here right on top. Okay, right on top there of one of the valves, or valve stems. Okay, like that. You just set it right on here. 17mm, perfect size to fit on that. And I'm just going to give it a good tap with the hammer to get the valve out. So, like I said, like so, put it on here. Just gonna hold it there, nice and straight. I don't want it to fly off, just a good whack. There we go. And our valve, I'll show you what just happened in here. So we have our valves now come out, valve spring, excuse me, pull this off. And our keepers are sitting down in the head there. Pick those up with a magnet. Sometimes they'll come off, sometimes they won't. Ideally, they'll just be sitting on the top. And now you can see, take those keepers off this magnet and put it in the magnetic bowl. Now you can see here, here's our valve stem seal. So to remove it, I just use these. You can get special tools for this, but really you just want to get on the valve stem seal, and we're going to work it side to side each way and then pull it straight off. I'm going to use both hands for that. Just going to get right on the metal portion. Good grip. Rock it back and forth this way, and it kind of deforms. Okay. And I'm going to spin it on the valve. I'm going to rock it back and forth again, but I've rotated it. And then we're just going to pull straight up. These may be on here a little bit. Keep rocking it till the seal breaks. And there we go. This is our valve stem seal. And I was just gripping it right here on the metal part. Okay, so now we need to change the valve stem seal again. When you're doing the kit, make sure you're installing the correct ones. On this Toyota, this is a 2.7 liter 2TRFE out of a 2010 Tacoma. And you want to make sure you're using the right color. So in this case, the brown ones are the intake. We're on the intake side, and we're good to go. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, underneath here, under the head, I have a rag. I'm just going to move the rag under this valve. And the reason why we're under this combustion chamber, and this way the rag is pushing on the valve so it doesn't fall down into the cylinder when we do it. Okay, so we'll take our new valve stem seal. Okay, got the right ones here, intake side. Just push it on and push it down onto the valve. You can see it sits on there. And then you're going to use a 10 mil socket for these Toyotas. And it's just going to push down. And so what we're going to do, so I can show you what's happening, is these valve stem seals fit perfectly on there to where what you're pushing down on is the outside edge, and you're not getting anywhere near this spring. You're just pushing it on. And you'll feel them go on. So just take it. I'll do this one. You'll probably hear it. Boom. It just clicks on. You'll feel it click twice. And it just sits on there on the valve like that. What you don't want to do, make sure it's pushed on straight. You'll feel it affirmatively click. Do not get a hammer and pound on it or anything like that. They don't need to be on there with the force of your ancestors. Okay, so now we have to put our spring back on, and this is where it can be annoying if you don't have a spring compressor. Put my spring back on over the valve, and I'm going to put my keepers that I took from the magnetic bowl, and I'm actually just going to pre-install them in the pre-install them here. Make sure I'm putting them the right way. It's actually harder to do this when I'm trying to show it for the camera. But put your keepers in the way they came out, narrow side down, so they make a little, like a little V going in there. And they should look like this. See if we can get a light going on here. It should look like that. And I'm just going to set this thing right there. And as you can see the valve right there through those keepers. Now here's where the weird part comes in. We have little pieces of cardboard. Okay, I cut these. And I'm just going to set one of the pieces of cardboard on top of this valve. And then I'm going to push it on. It might take a couple tries. I'll tell you guys in the audience right now, we may have to do this more than once. But if you don't own a spring compressor, or you don't have one, this is the easy way to do it. You just put the little cardboard over here. And you can see this is what one of them looks like when it's on there properly. And we're going to take our tool, we're going to push it on here, we're going to sandwich it on top of that cardboard, and we're going to push down. Now mechanically what's going to occur here now is as we compress the spring, that valve stem is actually going to punch a hole through this cardboard, but the valve stem will punch a hole just big enough for itself. The rest of the cardboard is going to gently push down on those keepers and push them into place. So we'll try to do this here. Hopefully we can do it the first go. I'm going to use a little piece of wood so I can get most of my body weight up on top of this above the bench. Standing on it. Put this here. And again, we're just going to press straight down. You know, I'm going to feel it punch through the cardboard. First, let me get it perfectly aligned with the spring. There we go. I felt it go through. You can see good to go. Okay, so we're going to do one more, and this time I'm going to try to show a little better light. I'll put the two videos together, but anyway, hopefully this will give people a better view. So I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before. I start off with my tool, and I'm just going to place it directly on top of the valve spring, so you can see here what I'm doing. This is the second one. We're doing exhaust valve this time. Push it straight on and just give this a good tap. I'm just going to put this on here. Hold it steady. And that time was really good. You can see the keepers, we broke free here, and the keepers are sitting right on top. I can just pull out the whole assembly. I like to know where the keepers are, so they're both sitting right in there, and I'm actually just going to replace this one right in. So that's what I was trying to show in the last video. That's how they sit, just like that. Set this whole assembly aside. There's our seal. And like before, I'm going to set my camera back here. Like before, all I'm going to do is take and I know it's not the ideal camera angle. I'm going to use one of the old ones to demonstrate. Okay, so I'm taking my valve stem seal here, and I'm coming down in here, and I'm just grabbing it on the metal collar, just like that. And I'm going to work it right and left, back and forth. Okay, twist it and take it out. So that is, I'm just going to come right on the side here. It's okay if you mangle these ones. Again, back and forth. Rotate it a little bit. You'll feel it deform in your hands because it's metal. You're going to kind of feel that in the tools. Give it some good rocks. When you get ready to take it off, might take a time or two. out of there. Put it with the old ones. Let's see, I've got my old ones here that I've been pulling out. You'll see how they kind of deform. I'm gonna give a better shot of exactly what's happening here on this old one. So I'm coming in, got my little hose pliers. I'm just getting it right on the middle. And it's important, these are magnetized, it's important to realize that you're not bending the valve. Don't do that. It's all you're doing is rocking this thing. Okay? All you're gonna do, it should be in, they're magnetized, it should be inside there, but just rock them. Okay, back and forth and pull it off. Now we're gonna put on our new seal. Again, the exhaust seals for these Tacomas are a different color. Intake is brown on this side. And make sure that you don't, if you're rotating the head around when you're working, I've made dumber mistakes. Like, I know this is the intake side, okay, I got places where my fuel injectors go, so this is exhaust side over here. Make sure you get these right, because the intake ones, like I mentioned before, the intake ones are brown in color, and they're made out of a metal that's not designed, like an alloy, not designed to withstand so much heat. So I take it, put it right onto the valve stem, push it down. Here's my 10mm socket, fits perfectly over the top. I'm just going to push straight down. You'll hear them click. And that's it. Okay. It's, again, I've seen some videos where dudes tap them with a hammer. There's no reason to tap this thing with a hammer. Just push it. Again, come straight down over the top, press, and that's it. I can't push down on my valve. I have a shop rag underneath this. Now we're going to put our valve spring back on, our whole assembly. Right? We'll get our piece of paper, cardboard, to sit on the top. And now we're going to come straight down on it with the tool, and that valve stem will punch through the cardboard and hopefully catch the keepers. And if this part doesn't work, again, you might have to do it twice. That's okay. Especially if it's at a weird angle. I'm going to stand on a block of wood so I can get on top of this. That one didn't go. So when it doesn't go, you'll see that the cardboard widened too much and it didn't retain those. So it's all right. Just grab another square and you keep trying till you get it. It's much easier on the valves that are like on the same side you're standing on. This one's kind of hard. You got to come at it at an angle down this way. Yep, and that one, it caught, but it's not on there straight, so we got to start over. One of the keepers isn't straight, so just rinse and repeat. And again, you might be wondering, why do it this way? The reality of it is, not everybody owns a valve spring compressor. Everybody has that tool. Everybody wants to buy that tool. And again, I would imagine if you owned one, you might not be like a DIY guy working in your garage. So this is just a way to do it. This is just one more way, one more approach. And it's good we're doing this a couple times, because this just shows you it's not perfect method. Have a bunch of these squares ready to go. Bad feeling about this one. You want a good stiff piece of cardboard, and this one's kind of wonky. Actually, we got it. You can see. Right. Easy mode. So that's how you do it. Make sure they're straight. When you want to look at these keepers, when they're in here. Make sure that as you see, neither side, neither one of the moons is like cocked up like that. You'll see a gap, like right here. You'll see a gap in between the two halves. That's normal. You can see that gap again right here on this one. What you just want to make sure is both of them are pushed down all the way. So bring the camera over on the one I just did. That's in all the way, and this is in all the way. And then we're good to go. So 2 cylinders done, do the rest of them. But this is a way to get stuff on without a special tool, with some stuff that you probably have in your garage, right? Some basic things. Have an awesome day, guys, whatever you're working on. Let's see if I can get the camera down. You know, I do these videos for the dudes who are in their garage doing DIY projects, and maybe you don't have the money to take it to a shop, or maybe you just want to do it yourself. But I hope whatever it is you guys are working on goes well. There'll be some more motorcycle videos coming as soon as I get this thing back together. But I'm getting ready to go on a good vacation here pretty soon. You know, going to go on a road trip with the lady. So when we get back, we'll post some videos of the engine assembly and getting it all together. Anyway, have an awesome one, guys. And whatever you're drinking this evening, hope it's cold.